Daniel effing Gafford said rent is due, little buddies, and turned every single Portland Trailblazer into a little ant, piled them all up in one little area, and then stomped on the Empire Today flooring to the tune of 23 points on 7 field goal attempts, 9 of 14 from the free throw line. He was an absolute beast down there tonight.
He's just so good in these situations. I saw him do a crossover. I was unaware that I just never expected him to dribble like that. I kind of like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. He is just such a physically dominant force. When you do not have an athlete his size, Portland did have athletes his size.
Yeah, Ayton and Klingon are both huge.
They had larger centers. When you do not have a center to match Daniel Gafford in and around the rim who is that athletic, or you could argue if you don't have perimeter defenders who can get in there and swipe the ball out, which I think a team like Oklahoma City, that's kind of why Daniel Gafford does not do this against teams like Oklahoma City. I think it's less about the size and more about the perimeter defenders and the ability just that he runs out of time. But look, I'm just saying that to say that Portland had none of that, absolutely none of it, and oh my goodness, he made them look so silly. Just what a dominant athlete in these situations when he gets going, and there's nothing Portland could do. This is what it probably felt like to play against Wilt Chamberlain. Except that Daniel Gafford, in this game was better than anything Wilt's ever done in his entire career. And Portland should feel bad about themselves.
He just plays with so much force. That was the thing that Rick Carlisle used to always say, talking about other teams, because his frequent criticism of his own team was that they didn't play with enough force. Then you think back to all these games Daniel Gafford was playing against the Mavs, whether it was with the Bulls or with the Wizards. He was on the Wizards the year the Mavs went to the conference finals in 21-22, and he had a couple really good games against Dallas that season. He is just a bully. He's only listed at what, like 6'9", 6'10", like 230 or 240 or something.
Listed at 6'9".
Wow. But he is, dude, he's fearless. He's tough. He's kind of a maniac. Like, he is definitely a guy that's like, you're not sure if he's talking to himself or if he's talking to you. And like, you kind of think he is talking to himself, but you're sort of afraid. So you don't really want to look. But then like, if he is talking to you and you're not looking at him, then he's going to like think that he has an edge over you. Like, he's kind of a freak, and he will just like he had that crossover, which was really nice. I think he had a spin move, which is really nice too. But one of the first plays he made in the game was catching it like even higher than the elbow and just launching himself into Ayton and basically saying like, are you going to stop me or not? And Ayton was not up for it, and I think early in games, whenever Gafford is able to do that, whenever he knows that he's got the edge, whenever he knows that he's the toughest dude out there, he's the biggest and baddest guy on the floor, then he starts seeing red. Like, he's gonna attack the rim with the ball or without the ball every single trip down the floor. It's just a matter of, can one of his teammates get it to him in time, and he was just completely dominant, and it was really, I think, important and impactful that he got going kind of early in this game, because Luka was very slow out of the gates. Kyrie made a few layups, but there wasn't a lot going on. And then Gafford just erupted. He had 6 points in the first quarter. He had 11 points by halftime. Like, Gafford was just dominant. He was just dominant. And why does he seem to completely humiliate and destroy bad teams?
I think it's everything that you said. And I think bad teams don't have good perimeter defenders. I think that's part of it. But yeah, I don't think we give him quite. I don't think I give him quite enough credit. I don't want to speak for everybody. I don't think I give him quite as much credit for his touch around the rim. Obviously, he is spotty free throw shooter. He's not a perimeter threat, but he does really truly have touch in that area. He does finish shots at a remarkably high rate. You don't lead the NBA in field goal percentage without that being the case. I know that's obvious, but we praise so much of his athletic, physical ability, but this is a guy who can finish 5, 6, 7, 8 feet away from the rim off glass, soft floaters. I think there are shots in that area that Derek Lively is better at, but and maybe that's where I'm not downplaying his touch. I don't think anybody downplays his touch, but maybe that's why we see Derek Lively with the soft floaters. But that's the funny thing. Daniel Gafford has touch on hard shots. Like even when he's going up, like he is throwing a bank shot in, but he's doing it. And that is touch right there. That's not an easy shot either. It's just funny. Like Derek Lively very much is a, just kind of leave it on the rim to fall right in. And so, he plays, he shoots, not directly at the rim shots, kind of like he plays. And I think Gafford does too, but they're both very good at it. And, Gafford's other, secret ability is he is only listed at 6'9" or so. His shoulders are so wide, and so he's able
to... Very girthy man.
Okay.
What?
Interesting. Swarthy, maybe.
That's definitely not what I'm... No.
Okay.
That's not what he is.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to point out that Bobby derailed the show, but the shoulders, like when he turns, when he spins, he can hold off somebody. He can... It's a really difficult man when you are between him and the rim. You're not getting to that. You're not catching up. You're not Victor Wembanyama, unless you are Victor Wembanyama, in which case he probably can. I think Wembanyama had another 8 blocks
scored
tonight.
On him though too. Gafford, to your point, this season on shots from between 3 and 10 feet from the rim, he is 64%. How about this? On shots from between 8 and 16 feet from the rim, he's 5 for 5.
8 and 16?
Between 8 to 16 feet, he is 5 for 5, which is...
So that's probably 8 or 9? 8 or 9 or 10 feet from the rim?
Yeah, well, he's made one mid-ranger. So, I don't know.
Did
Beats
he really?
me. He might have got fouled or something. I don't know. I don't remember that.
Also,
shame on me for not remembering
the
that,
data
actually.
can be a little spotty on those.
No. I think it's perfect. Dallas
it can be
tonight... And he can kind of like set the tone, right? Like you start overreacting to what a big man is doing, then all of a sudden maybe you're going to cheat more toward him, which does open it up for Kyrie and for Luka. And, maybe you're not going to blitz the ball handler because you got to worry about the big man in the back, and they don't have a big power forward on that team. And a lot of teams don't have, in fact, even most good teams don't have a big power forward, but a lot of bad teams don't have a power forward on the back line that can slide over and help on the weak side. Gafford's just going to finish over them too. But Dallas, as a team in this league at that juncture, was 26 for 30 on paint field goal attempts through 3 quarters. They finished 32 for 40 for the game. So Gafford, again, 7 for 7. All of those shots are coming right around the rim. Whenever he gets it going, it's like it's a different kind of pressure that it puts on you. Like Luka makes a few threes, you can see coaches start sweating. I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like Kyrie starts dancing with the ball, you can feel the temperature rising. You're like, oh my God, like, oh, how are we going to stop this guy? We got to get it out of his hands. Gafford starts going, and there's like, you just feel helpless. Like he's like the juggernaut. Once he gets going, like it's over.
Yeah. No, it's very much. He's just, it's got to be demoralizing to see him do that repeatedly over and over again. And the entire Mavs bench, I'm basically like in direct line of sight of the Mavs bench in terms of like, I don't have to turn my head at all. And, I just see their reactions. They're hopping up, they're cheering,
they're flexing,
they're flexing, they're hollering.
I'm sure they're degrading, and
I would like to bring back up the question I had on the pregame show, which is how many throat lozenges, how many cough drops does Daniel Gafford have after every game? Because I think this might be 1 or 2 more than his usual dose. A lot of yelling. In fact, I need one right now. But man, yeah, just a very fun player. Can I be not a wet blanket? We have celebrated him. Can I point out that Derek Lively was also plus 16? Gafford was plus 10 in 21 minutes. Derek Lively was plus 16 in 16 minutes. There is a reason Lively's starter. He was also awesome tonight. Gafford was awesome. And Derek Lively is a starter. And this is a great 1-2 punch. This is a great cheat code, a secret weapon that you can deploy, against bad teams. Not a secret weapon. I think everybody knows that Daniel Gafford is the team's backup center. He is great as a backup center. He is fantastic in this role. It is very enjoyable.
Dude, he's starting to... I mean, here's like... I'm just going to read you some of his games since he started coming off the bench. Starting tonight, 23, 13, 2, 10, 9, 10, his points. 16, 11, 19, 14, 10, 10, 13, 11, 11, 22.
Sixth man of the year?
I think you're gonna be hard pressed to give 6 man to a big, like a true big, like a natural big, not a Nas Reed style big that can shoot too,
or a Bobby Portis.
Yeah, or Bobby Portis, where like, yeah, he's a
When's the
power
last-
forward, but he shoots and he kind of does a little bit of everything. But like, man, Gafford is like, he changes the game a lot. Now there are teams that just have his number, but if you don't have the stretch big,
Kevin McHale won it.
yeah,
Sixth man of the
that's
year.
40 years ago. So
Yeah, so
if you don't have the stretch big that pulls him away from the rim on defense,
Montrezl Harrell won it.
and if you don't have
Actually, he is basically the modern
that's true. Yeah,
Montrezl
it
Harrell.
kind of is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't have the defense that can kind of mitigate that stuff around the rim, then yeah, you're gonna be in for a long night because like you're gonna be worried about Luka and Kyrie, and then all of a sudden some 6'9" dude is gonna be screaming and thumping his chest and raising the roof like I did at the beginning of this show and just screaming at everybody in the building because he's gonna be throwing down dunk after dunk after dunk, and you are gonna end up on a highlight reel.
We all silly like the mayor.